Hey, Dave with Tornado here. I'm here today with the Tornado Torrent 28 and the Torrent 43. Both are sweepers that have industrial features that you are gonna love. The 28 unit and the 43 unit are both designed with the Tandem Roller System. Now that's cool and important because that Tandem Roller System allows you to pick up big debris like soda cans and bottles, as well as all your fine debris on multiple floor surfaces, carpeted surfaces, concrete, even outdoors in the sidewalks. These are really designed for industrial use. The Torrent 28, you see, has the 28-inch path. When it opens up with the brush, it becomes the full 28-inch. And we tuck it back inside to get into those narrower areas or doorways. The 43 has twin brushes, and they open up completely at 43 inches. Why that's important? Because you can tuck those back in to get through a standard 36-inch doorway, and that's only running right there about 35 inches. So they're designed smart that you can get in and out of doorways and still maintain your cleaning levels from the outside in. Let's take a look under the hood and show you what you'll find when you take it out of the box. Both units are keyed. So you're gonna find this black key with the square right on it. You see that? And you're gonna stick it right in there in the front. It's spring loaded, and that's gonna open up and lock into place. So under the hood, you're gonna find the battery and the two terminals here and here. And those screws will be in the terminals. The wires will be hovering over the appropriate terminals. You're gonna wanna loosen up that screw, put the wires on, and then just tighten it down. There's a Phillips head screwdriver necessary if you want to tighten that up. To the right side of the machine, you're going to notice this adjustment here in orange. Nice bright color so you can look at it and know exactly what that's designed for. That's going to give you your height adjustment for that brush on the side. Now that brush is eventually going to wear, especially if you're using it in industrial settings like sidewalks or rougher concrete. So when that starts to wear, and you feel like that brush isn't getting the full contact of the floor, you can lower it by simply loosening that up, and that brush will lower down. Another thing I should point out about these brushes is when you get the machine right out of the box, those brushes are gonna be located in the back of the machine in the hopper. For protection, we keep them back there for transport. And to install them, they just go with one screw and a wing nut, which you'll easily find right at the assembly. Push it up into its place, and then tighten it up. The last thing I want to show you under the hood is the charger. This is where you're going to want to plug it in at the end of the use. Now these batteries are all no maintenance batteries, so you want to run them down and then charge them up and let them charge fully. These batteries like to be charged, and they like to be charged and run down all the way. So run them down and then charge them all the way up, and then give them 15 to 20 minutes to cool before you put them into use. This is a standard 110 plug outlet, so you can plug it in anywhere and get your full charge. Let's take a look at the back of the machine and some of the buttons and tools to operate it. All right, so we've turned the machines around, and now you can really start to tell the differences between the 28 and the 43. Again, both of them have that tandem roller system, but the 28 has got a couple of manual features that the 43 has in more of an electronic version. And I'm gonna show you from the left side to the right side. Starting from the left, this round circular gauge here, that's gonna be your battery charger. It's also, it's a battery charger indicator. That's gonna show you how much battery life you have in there, as well as an hour meter. And an hour meter is important because you wanna know from a PM perspective how often you need to work on that, how often the brushes might need to be changed out. So that's something that service might talk to you about when you call in if you ever had service. Where's the hour meter resting at now, and you can give that information. And then the next button right here is gonna be your main power for the brushes. And then this one is the fine vacuum system that's inherent in both of the units. What that does is when those brushes are spinning and kicking up dirt and debris, they're housed inside that machine, and then that dirt and debris, that fine stuff, is getting sucked through this air filter. Now that air filter is taking all that fine debris and capturing it, while the big debris is getting pushed into that hopper down below. Those tabs lock it back into place. One thing I should point out here is that the air filter has an arrow that's pointing up. You're gonna wanna make sure if you take that air filter out for service to clean it out, you're gonna wanna put it back in with that air filter and the arrow pointing up. Simply lift that up, lock it back into place on those 2 screws, drop it down. Now this handle right here is called a shaker, and what that does, it loosens all that fine debris from the air filter so it all can fall down into that hopper. Now that's what's manual on the 28. On the 43, that's an electronic feature. So when we get over to there, I'm gonna show you how that works. One of the other things to notice on the hopper is that the 28 has a pedal release. So you step on that pedal, it allows that hopper to come out. And there's tons of room in that hopper. Snaps back into place. The handles are all the way down. You can adjust that to whatever height you like, what's comfortable for you, and then tighten it back up on both sides for the knob. There's also 2 brake knobs here in the handle so that if you needed to fold that down, your janitor's closets aren't getting any bigger. You want to lower that or break it in half, flip it down, you can do that right there. All right, so now we've shown you some of the features of the 28. Let's get that one out of the way here. I want to really focus in on this 43 and show you why it's different. The pedal is missing. There is no pedal release for that. Locks up into place. That hopper will slide right out. You can see the air filter is the exact same. And again, the arrow, you want to make sure. This piece right back in here, that's going to be your shaker, and that's going to move across the air filter when you hit the button. One other thing I want to point out while this is in the up position is this has a safety feature where this piece right here has to connect with the hopper to make sure that they're connected electronically so that this will function. That's a safety feature. So if I turn the machine on, it's not going to function. So you see that micro switch connects to here, and once that makes contact, it'll rock and roll. Now I already showed you that we're missing that release pedal. It's not necessary in this one. But on the actual control board, it's gonna look very similar to the 28. You've got the hour meter gauge here, the battery charging indicator is also there. And then your first button is going to be for your main power. That's gonna turn on your main brush. This button right here is a toggle switch in 2 directions, and I'm able to turn that on so that that fan is kicking in and that vacuum is actively taking all that dust out of the contents of the machine and pulling it through that air filter. And then the bottom toggle switch, that's the shaker that you see in the 28. It's electronic in the 43. So you can just hit that button, and there's a series of rollers in there that are gonna move back and forth across that air filter, dropping all that fine debris right into your hopper. And the last switch is the switch that activates those 2 brushes in the front. Also inherent on the 28, if you turn that switch on, the one brush will spin. This one, both brushes are gonna spin. Let me show you how that works. Now, why that's important is if you're in a large setting like a ballroom or something where you're not running along the side of a wall per se, you can shut that off, conserve electricity and energy on the batteries, and just pick up the debris in the front of the machine. If you need a big wider path or you're going up along a wall, you're gonna wanna turn those brushes on, put them all the way out. Increase the width in the cleaning area, and then turn those brushes on. Now the last thing with the 43 that I want to show you that the 28 doesn't have is the ability to trans drive. What that means is when I depress the handle, the machine's going to go forward all on its own. So one of the big differences between the 43 and the 28 is once you get under the hood, you have the ability to adjust the boom brush, which is that big brush underneath, manually. You're not going to find that in the 28. And why that's important is as that boom brush wears, or depending on the floor substrate you're gonna be cleaning, you wanna be able to either raise or lower that brush. If you're on some heavy, thick carpeting, you're not gonna want that brush to be binding down on it. So you can raise that brush up off the floor, and you'll see this knob here all the way down to the floor, and that brush is up off the floor. Now, as you need more pressure on that brush, or as that brush wears, you're able to loosen that knob and raise that up, tighten it up, and now that brush is pressing down on the floor. It kind of works like a cantilever or a seesaw. You've got the adjustments for the side brushes as well, just like you do in the 28 on both sides here. The batteries are going to be just the same as far as the wires hovering over the top to install when you get the machine. Both of those brushes are going to be found in that rear hopper, and again, the screw with the wing nut. Okay, so that's the inside of the machine. Now let's close the hood and I'll show you how easy it is to actuate the side brushes in and out and then down to the floor. Let's take a look. You see this adjustment here, lowers down, locks into place. Now to show you that lever, I'm gonna tuck the brushes in. And you're gonna see right here on each side, and even the Torrent 28 has this foot pedal, and it's actually got a cutout of a boot. You step on that, and that's gonna bring that brush head down. When you're done cleaning, you just simply pick it right up and it locks back into place. There's a mechanism in there that releases and then lifts it back up. That's gonna be on both sides of the machine. Another great feature that's on both of these is it's got a built-in light, a LED light right in front. Nice to illuminate the path that you're cleaning, indoors or out. So there you have it, the Torrent 28 and the Torrent 43 sweepers from Tornado. Like any piece of cleaning equipment, it will treat you clean so long as you keep it clean. So make sure you maintain it well. Clean all those brushes out, get underneath there, take all the yarn and dirt and dust that may be built up inside of those brushes, clean them out, keep your rear hoppers clean, and maintain those air filters. And you can have a great piece of equipment to clean your floors indoors or outdoors for years to come. If you're gonna use the machines outdoors, make sure you shut off that internal filter, that vacuum filter that sucks all that fine debris. You don't wanna be using that in an outdoor environment. And one other tip before I let you go is the QR code. You'll notice it here. Look for the QR code that says scan me. You'll be able to scan that with your phone and go right to our landing page on our website, where you'll find operation manual, technical support, specs, and more information. I hope you've learned a lot from the sweeper video. Anytime you need any more information, you can always reach us at our tech support at 1-800-VACUUMS or on our website at tornadovac.com.